Today, I'm sharing an amazing client success story of a former teacher turned life coach who has 3x'd her income in her business since joining my programs, starting with the FBL and now as a member of the BDC. And inside this episode, we're going to share exactly how she's done it and why she believes all this amazing goodness has happened for her. Welcome to another episode of the Best Damn Coach podcast. Today, I am bringing on an amazing client. These are my favorite episodes because I get to share the people that I get to work with on a consistent basis, and they get to share their growth. You get to see what's possible because I think sometimes we get locked into the details. Things feel so far away, and then we get to hear from people that were just where we were not long ago. And it brings us so much hope and joy. So I'm so excited to have Ana Cortes-Holbert here. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, and I am equally excited, Amanda. I am a Amanda Walker BBC fan. So
I always say, you're going to hear this already before we even start the episode, having Ana in my world is like the best hype girl. And it's not just for me, it's just for people in general, which makes what you do so relevant and why I feel like you're just this magnet for support for people. And people love you because you're very easy to love because you give so much good stuff energetically to other people. So that's going to be very obvious through this episode, I'm sure.
thank you.
Funny thing is, Ana and I come from kind of a similar background. I didn't know you when I was there at high school, but I went to the high school where you taught at, and we found out we have so much cool common background. So it's been really fun to, connect in a new way and watch you because you were a teacher. And I tend to attract a lot of former teachers. And I want to start this episode off by identifying that because you didn't come out of the womb as a coach. You didn't know how to sell things or market things. I mean, I don't know how much you're going to talk about, but you didn't even speak English. And so to be where you are now, having a fruitful coaching business and kind of transitioning your skill set is evidence to everybody listening that it's possible for them too. So tell the people a little bit about, in a kind of concise way, who you coach and what you do.
Well, this is what you help me with. So I want to say very clearly, I work with overachieving women that tie their achievements to their worth. So there's just so much going on with those women. They're so tough on themselves and they're just incredible women. And I just have to pause for them and go, wait, say that again. Repeat that for me. And you helped me do that before the FBL, before being in your corner. I just wanted to save the world and I was all over the place.
Yeah, it's so good. I think we can all relate to that in some. It's like you have this skill set and this skill set can actually help everyone. And I was just having a podcast interview earlier, and she made this great metaphor. And she said, I went to this little tiny ski town that was like population 2,000. And the slogan for the town was something for everyone. And she's like, it was a big fat lie because there wasn't something for everyone there. If you liked theme parks, it wasn't for you. If you wanted to stay at a 5-star resort, it wasn't for you. If you wanted a bougie restaurant, it wasn't for you. And so sometimes in our business, we think that the idea that we can serve everyone or we have something for everyone is beneficial. But what it does is it waters us down. It makes us blend into the background. And so it's been really fun helping you pull that out and talk about it and use your messaging. And we're going to talk about what kind of results have come from that, which have been amazing. But I hope you're okay with this. Can you just speak a little bit to like your upbringing? Just touch on it briefly because I kind of think it's important too, because I think it's valuable for people to understand how you got here.
So I have an American mom, but I didn't know English. I had it in Catholic school, but just minimal. And I have a dad from Colombia, South America. So I grew up there till I was 12 and my dad over leveraged himself. So he would have been arrested if he wasn't married to an American woman. And we fled out of Ecuador just with the bags on our back and moved in with grandma, so my mom's mom, and aunt and cousin into this tiny home. And I grew up like upper middle class in Colombia. We often had two live-in maids, maybe somebody that came in and did the ironing and other chores. My dad was into politics, so we even had a security guard. And then I move here, and on the first day of school, kids are trying to talk to me, and all I could say is, "My name is Ana, and I don't speak English." And that's where my journey began, which I just attribute that time and that difficulty to even you, I think, bring so much of that. Like, we sometimes diminish what all we have experienced in our journey that isn't just the certification that really brings so many gifts. And I would say out of that, I say I often maybe wouldn't be as compassionate and as I am, understanding these two worlds, coming to a new country, learning the culture, and just learning how to maneuver a new world.
So good. I love that you brought that up because it is, we kind of dismiss that because we're over here trying to start this quote unquote business. And I think that experience is what makes you so special. And then you go on to teach, obviously, not obviously, but Spanish. And then becoming a teacher, right, only develops that skill set. You feel confident standing up in front of people, teaching, breaking down complex concepts into more understandable pieces. And so just you starting to see that and utilizing and tapping into those skill sets, even, in the short time I feel like we've really gotten to know each other. I can watch it all, kind of all the lights come on in the attic of like, oh yes, this all happened for a purpose. This is my journey. And those of you listening, you are no different than myself or Anna. Is you have all of these things that you're bringing in addition to whatever certification or knowledge that compels you to dive deeper. Is when we really embody all of that fully, you start to realize, oh yeah, this makes total sense that I'm here coaching the people that I am, right?
Yeah. Yes. And even I love how you bring up that for you, it's mostly women, but it doesn't mean there aren't men on your roster. And for me, I think anytime I have a parent that wants me to help with their adolescent, I would never turn them down. I'm good with teenagers. I have a connection to them. I also coach couples. I have a 79-year-old. You've heard about her.
So cool.
So I'm always so inspired.
Yeah.
But having a focus is so important, like you said, because who are we messaging to? And other people may be attracted, but we got to be clear on that. And you help us do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad we could help bring that clarity. And I feel like that clarity happened because the first place we met in a networking community that I've spoke at and that we're a part of, but it wasn't until you joined a previous cohort of the Framework Builder Lab, right, that you actually came in and got to experience the more formal experience of what it is like to coach with me. And I think that's where the kind of catapult happened, was bringing in that clarity. And I say this so many times on the podcast, and there are so many people that come into my world craving this, but part of your struggle, and I can say this in the most loving way because you would say it before, is that you were speaking too coachy, right? And you were speaking the language of your certifications or the language of what you knew your client needed, but that they were yet to discover, right? And they could see that, like, I need to achieve more, I need to achieve more. But what they weren't saying on the inside is, gosh, my inner critic needs fixed, right? And so you're often leading with that language. So I love for you to rewind time and talk about, where were you before the FBL? Obviously, we hit on like languaging was tough, but if you think back to before FBL, what was happening in your business? What did that look like?
Well, my husband just even had a conversation with me. So here's the difference. He said, "You're starting to make more money, so you probably need to put aside money for quarterly taxes." And that's the difference right there. If it's just,
That's a great complication to have.
that I am bringing in income that is, or that I gave $7,000 towards our New Zealand trip. So there's another one. My family, no wonder you and I get along so well. My family is my nucleus. I live for that. And for me to think of, I'm helping others and I get to treat us to a trip or for me to contribute. So that I think is going to all the listeners out there, that's the problem I have or I'm getting to. And even to be able to zero in on goals, like us having a session together. And I know that I had all kinds of money issues, and you helped me listen to my happy pocket full of money, which I'm going to come to again. But there's just so many little nuggets where once I got clear on the people I help, once I got clear on how do I speak to them, and then the level of client too that I am attracting is so different. I just have that ideal client. They're really, and I think the reason an overachiever, obviously, and I think all of us, there's this part of us that is mirroring our clients, and no wonder we can be so effective with them because I'm really tough on myself. And so if I can, and I always expected the most, right? Like I was one of the top teachers, but I always wanted to be the best and I never got that. And I sometimes got caught up in that. So it is once I got focused and you helped me do that in the community. That's the other thing I ought to speak about. It's the type of women that you attract in the best damn coach. And you're so strategic and intelligent. It's like you give us this ability to participate in workshops we've taken in the past, and that really helps those newbies not only to hear you, but they get to ask us questions or they get to see. Or when we see a colleague that did something and they took that jump, that they took the chance, they accomplished whatever it was, and we all support each other because of the kind, driven women that are in this community.
Well, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I agree. There's some pretty great ladies in the group. I don't disagree. In all my programs, right? It's like, and it's taking me time too to even get more crystal clear on who that is. And I think the messaging piece is always a bit of a moving target as you evolve. The type of woman you want to work with evolves. The type of person you want to work with definitely evolves. And I think if we go back to the FBL, I think the pre-Ana version there was, like we said, a little bit uncertain, wanting to attract everyone. I remember very truly too, was also, I think, rejecting money a little bit, not consciously, but uncertain of how to adapt services to create financial stability for yourself, which is something I see so many people struggle with, is not just the dollars they're charging, but the way they're charging and putting hourly work in, and being able to watch you kind of lean into that. Because after the FBL, you decided, you already alluded to this, but you had such great experience in the FBL. You jumped in to the Best Damn Coach. And for me, now we get to zoom in on like the whole ecosystem of your business. And I think that's the thing that I've really watched you too, is start to have the wheels tick on exactly what that looks like and making sure that you have a system to bring clients. So maybe we could just be, I mean, you already said it. Like you pay for your New Zealand trip, or at least contributed. You're putting away, having to put money away for taxes. Those are all like complications in the most beautiful way. But we've seen your roster soar, and part of that is just because you know how to talk to the exact woman you want. Like so many people over or underestimate that power. But can you talk to something that I mentioned before I really wanted you to speak at or speak to, is where are most of your clients coming from? You don't have to say specifics or names of locations, but maybe you can use more generic terms. Like where are you meeting your clients mostly?
Um, Gosh, I've met them on planes, traveling. I have met them at the gym where I work out at. And it was even one of the teachers there. She had a friend looking for a coach for her 20-year-old. And I my teacher that I take a lot of classes through, she's a tough, tough teacher. I love her. Um, she recommended her to me. So I definitely joined this gym knowing specifically it's a gym where certain people can afford coaching because not everybody can afford coaching. So I knew that was going to be a win-win. And for me, even when I go to networking events, I go genuinely with my heart and whatever happens. And I think I'm also really good about gut of like, go where you feel good at and
That's that
let
Enneagram eightness. You're
yes,
you're an eight, right? I forget. You were an
yes.
eight? Yes,
Mhm.
yes. That's the gut. Enneagram eight gut. Love it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
Keep
no.
going.
So even there was a woman there and she hasn't gotten back to me. She did once and she said she needed a coach and I friended her daughter first. But to me it's about showing up as your most genuine, courageous, loving, compassionate person. And whatever comes, like it takes time to build those relationships. Like I have been part of this gym for 3 years. Even my women's business group, those women were right under my nose before you helped me, Amanda. So all of you listening out there, you may be making this a lot more difficult than it is because when you show up to places with an open heart and you're not leading thinking money, money, money or client, 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 but you're leading with knowing how passionate you are about what you do. The other thing you really help me with is my confidence. I think having this level of confidence, because once we can simplify, I help overachieving women
I love it all.
tie
Yeah.
their worth to their achievements. Like that's simple, but is that clarity, is that platform that you have. So the more you get to know people, and even some people are thinking of you. I had this woman come up to me and it's like, I think I need you to help my son. And she hasn't followed up, but I know her pretty well. And this is from the gym or even the locker room. I was saying I was a life coach, and there's this woman that I've known for a long time. And she was like, I need you. And she paid me in full before the contract. I had even emailed her the coaching agreements. So
I love it.
it is about being and thinking about all the people like in your last journey. A lot of my former, I shouldn't say a lot, but plenty of my former students or their children, or I have one child now. So think of all your paths that you have taken and think about how you can utilize those paths because once again, it's not as hard as sometimes we want to make it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just kind of recap what you said and put it into like street, some strategic. I love just hearing it from your mouth on where things happen. I like what you said. Often we make this more complicated than it has to be. But what Anna said is everywhere she goes, she gets clients. I mean, that's what I would sum it up with. The thing about it is they don't just come and say, are you a life coach? It's that she has authentic communication. Inevitably, the what do you do? Or she might talk about a client in a conversation. And that opens the door to have a conversation about what it is that you do and talk about not very aggressively, but like, yeah, this is what I do. And it creates curiosity and interest. And I think this is the thing that many of you are missing is energetically you go in graspy, but also you're in all of these places in your life and you're not even talking about being a coach. You're not talking about your services because either you lack clarity and you're confused or this imposter syndrome things you haven't shifted your identity yet into owning the fact that you're a coach. And so for many of you you don't need more strategy. You don't need to go out and do fancy, complicated things. You actually just have to talk about and have conversations with clarity about what you do. And that's why I love Anna being here today is her client attraction system doesn't actually take her out of her everyday life. She's working on growing things like an email list. That's new, right? She's working on deepening and building more sustainability over that, which is her opportunity for growth and what she's working on inside the BDC now. But it's just such a great example is that not one model of client attraction is right for everyone, but no doubt there are places right now that as you're listening, there are probably clients out there, or if you've left your corporate or you're still in corporate or whatever job, there's probably clients under your nose that you need help, but they won't know it, unless you have conversations.
Yeah,
So
you got to
thank you.
tell them.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing I'm going to say, I think this is where you're so good and you repeat things for us, right? Like even so many times you would like ROI and I'm like, what the heck is it? ROI? So obviously I was an educator and this entrepreneurial world is just I'm 4 years into it. But what I was going to say is you teaching us really how to expand and out of those things, even I went to your retreat. And I would, to all of you listening, if you decide to do anything, it's kind of like if you commit, and I was so scared spending the money. You and I went and back and forth on those DMs. My voice was probably shaking, but the best decision I ever made, right? And I went right into the FBL, the small bite offer, I believe. And then I joined in December and I did BDC Live. I did the retreat. I plan on doing BDC Live again. And it is surrounding yourself with women that are lifting each other up. And when you may need that motivation, that's going to help you. And you being an ex-teacher and just having such a big picture, like I have appeared on 3 podcasts and that was just me making that effort and I got those and I'm meeting with one of the women tomorrow and you helped us in the retreat to get more granular about what podcasts we're pitching to and be more strategic. And I would say those have been gifts and lessons for me. They've been nothing but gifts or lessons. So whether I get a client out of that or not, I'm learning. And I was going to mention one other thing that I've done. Oh, my free Zoom workshop and how you help me in the BDC community in office hours for me to really verbalize how scared I was, that fear of failure. What if no one shows up to my free workshop? But out of me doing that, there are more clients that have come. Or now, I think this was also born out of the BDC, is I'm speaking. Like I spoke at Borland Realty, and it looks like I might have one of them as a client. And I'm going in delivering. And I even did it for free because she didn't want to spend any more money. And I said, I'll do it for free. And I met with one of them, the realtors at Cabin Coffee, and
Here
had a
we are. Yeah,
discovery free session.
I love it. It's again just a testament of like when you go all in and you start really allowing yourself to shift the identity of being a coach and an entrepreneur and you get clarity around what really sets you apart is there's such a snowball of momentum that allows you to show up with authority, with conviction, with passion, and in front of the right people so that you're saying the things that really resonate deeply. And that's been so cool to watch over the course of, I would say almost a year of you being in various, programs and being in my world is to watch you be in your authority and your understanding of like what really sets you apart and say it in a way that meets people where you're at, right? And I've had multiple sales calls over the last couple weeks and I hear this repeatedly. It's like, I know I'm really good at what I do. I'm so passionate. I know I can change lives, but I'm just missing something. It's like the people aren't showing up. I feel like a hidden gem. And I have all the love for you if you're listening and that's you. And it's not because you need to start over or need other offers. It's just like Anna said, you sometimes need somebody that's not in the bottle with you to help you see and come to the clarity that you're looking for to be able to talk about what you do in a way that makes sense for the people you want to serve. So,
Or
Anna,
right, to take the dive, not just to dip your toes. Like, you
mm,
gotta, like the Zoom workshop, I had to do it and people showed up. And it's like, I was so scared and I was equaling it to failure. But what if no one showed up? It's like, so you do it again next month. But what if that month those three people show up and they recommend that one person? So nothing goes as a waste, I don't believe at all. Everything in our lives, just like your journey, for all of you listening, like your journey is a gem. And don't forget that. You may minimize it, but don't forget how much of a gem your journey is.
yeah, totally agree. It makes me think I've been watching the show Shrinking. I don't know if you've ever
See,
seen
I
that
love
with
it.
them. Okay, I love Shrinking because there's definitely this coachy psychoanalysis, constant rhetoric around therapy. But if you're not familiar, it's definitely an adult show. But one of the therapists kind of goes rogue to some degree. But what it reminded me a lot was so much of what I think brings success to entrepreneurs and makes like what sets apart the ones that make the money like you and are profitable and consistent is what I would say is like a form of exposure therapy. And I feel like that's been so much of my world. And if you're not familiar with that concept, it's basically like you slowly expose yourself or gradually to something you're afraid of or something that is hard for you. And I think back to the beginning of my roots when I was afraid to post on social media and I was only posting pictures of food. And it was like, okay, slowly post. And I was like, I got to go live. So I slowly, exposed myself to 30 days of going live and it reduces the fear, the irrational fear that exists so much. And I think that that is the gift of growth that entrepreneurship gives us is we slowly start to see the potential that we were meant to step into and we go and do the thing and we realize it didn't kill us and we realize there's so many learnings and we got more confident and then we only can go out and do more of it and it's been really fun watching you do that.
Thank you. And it is, I think you and I love working out. And as you brought that up, it just makes me think of it's doing the reps, right? We commit the reps in order to gain strength. In anything we do in life, like parenting is probably one of the hardest, most rewarding jobs. But we don't go to bed when it was frustrating and go, I hang up parenting.
Yeah, or I'm not going to wake up today and parent.
Yeah, like that's not a choice. And I do think as an entrepreneur is the more we do put in the reps that you talk about, then it is that momentum and then it catapults you to the next thing, or it gives you that level of confidence to really step into that room and go, I belong here. I have a gift.
So good. I feel like that's the most perfect way to end it. So, I'm so grateful that you joined us. I would love for you to share so that other coaches may be looking for somebody like you or they just want to connect. Where can they find you? Maybe share your social media handles so they can connect or your website, whatever feels good for you.
Well, I think the easiest and the one I'm on the most is Instagram, but I am on LinkedIn, I am on Facebook, and if you just find me with my name, Ana Cortes-Holbert, my website's longer. It's greenlightcoachingdevelopment.com, greenlightcoachingdevelopment.com. But you can find me in any of those places. And that's another thing you taught me. I love voice messaging people. That is like I speak with my heart. I speak with this energy and intonation. And so it's like there's all kinds of little things, whether I have the Nespresso coffee machine, like it's made the coffee sound so good.
Oh, it's so good. I had an espresso today. It was so good. Oh, I love it so much.
So it's finding our like almost having that aha moment of, oh my gosh, I do so well by leaving somebody a message more than just typing and doing
Me too. Me too.
emojis. Like that's a gift. What are your gifts? And they're in there. I believe in you. And If you're an overachieving woman and you tie your worth to all your achievements, I am the person for you. I am the most
Love it.
kind human that you're going to meet.
I love it. Anna, thank you for being with us. I am so grateful. Great job today.
And I am so grateful for you.